Today's story that we're learning about is called 8 Bags of Gold. So I'm going to start reading it for you now. Once there was a master, well known throughout the land. He had 100 servants who were under his command. His house had many, many rooms, and no one could deny that he was rich, and there was not a thing that he couldn't buy. One day the wealthy master had important news to tell, and so he called 3 servants with a shiny silver bell. The servants started running when they heard the master's call. Until they reached the master's room, they didn't stop at all. They found the master waiting, and they noticed at his side a massive heap of precious gold tied up in bags of hide. Ahem! I've called you here today to tell you that I am about to travel far away. The trip will be a long one, so I think it's plain to see that someone surely has to keep these bags of gold for me. I've thought and thought for many days, and now I've hit upon the answer to my problem. You will keep them while I'm gone. He pointed to the servant who was standing first in line. Come here, he said, and you shall have your share of what is mine. I give you these 5 bags of gold to do with as you choose. So then, till I return again, these coins are yours to use. Then to the second man he gave 2 bags of gold and said, to make good use of all this wealth, you'll have to use your head. The servant who was last in line approached the master's chair. There's 1 bag left, the master said, and that will be your share. Now go, but don't forget when I return, I'll want to see what faithful stewards you have been in using it for me. The servants made a bow so low their foreheads touched the floor, and then they gathered up their gold and headed for the door. The man who had 5 bags of gold went out with troubled thought, and in his mind he counted up the things that he could buy. It's such a task. I must not fail, the puzzled servant sighed. But then a plan popped into mind. That's what I'll do, he cried. I'll buy a store, a great big store. I'll sell so many things like pots and pans and shoes and coats and silk and diamond rings, bronze camel bells and Persian rugs and candlesticks and tea. The biggest store in all the land, that's what my store will be. And sure enough, he bought a store, and people came from places all around. They came from almost every place where people could be found to buy the things they need in the store. That would be so grand, for it was soon the superstore, the biggest of the land. And on the other side of town, where shoreline meets the sea, the man who had 2 bags of gold was happy as could be. For many years, this servant had possessed a secret wish, to be the owner of a shop for thriving trade in fish. And so a marketplace for fish was just the thing he bought, and fishermen came in to sell all the fish they caught. Then he turned